Hello, Facebook Live. Hello, everybody. Marcus here. Hello, Tuesday morning. Hope everybody's having an amazing day so far. It is beautiful out. The snow is melting like crazy. I'm going to get out for a run here pretty soon. My run yesterday was in ice pellets. I had ice pellets hitting my face and got out for a couple miles with one of the dogs. So one of our dogs is on the DL right now, on the disabled list. He, for some reason, somehow got a big gash to the back of his leg and had to have two separate, I don't know if you want to call them surgeries or stitch-ups, two separate stitch-ups on the back of his leg. So he's out for another week, but he really wants to run. We have two border collies, if you don't know. My parents had both passed away last year, and my wife and I, Jamie and I, inherited two border collies. So they're who I run with every single day, and I got to be careful if I say the R word, R-U-N, because they can hear that and they get very excited. But I wanted to talk about some overall health again, some things we're doing at the restaurant, some things that you can be doing, and some of the things that the government might be telling you not to do, and the reason why the government's telling you not to do this. It can be very confusing. So first of all, folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the support. We've gotten lots and lots of support at Aroma Thyme, and we really, really appreciate it. We've been keeping fairly busy. Of course, it's never busy enough because, it's just, we always need more business. We always need more money in the register. So we're trying to figure and adapt things. And if you know have been in the restaurant industry, it's expensive to run a restaurant and the margins are very, very low. So we just are trying to figure all this out and adapt and being able to still stay open and offer a value to the community. So we're giving away free water. We're giving away free ionized water. If you have a jug, 2 jugs, 3 jugs, 5 jugs, come fill it up. High alkaline, high antioxidant, microclustered, electron-rich water. This is what your body needs right now. You should be drinking water every hour. Keep the back of your throat moist. You should be taking all the normal supplements: vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. We're taking chlorella, spirulina, astragalus, echinacea. These are all things that are just really good for your body, like really, really good for your body. The unfortunate thing is that a lot of these are not recognized by the FDA or by the CDC. And there's a good reason why they're not. I'm going to tell you that reason. So if you want to know that reason, stay tuned. So we're giving out the free water. We're also giving out free latex gloves. We're giving out free latex gloves. Anybody who comes in, grab some latex gloves, take them with you. Do not go pump gas without latex gloves. I even do that on a regular basis long before the coronavirus. Every time I pull up to a gas station and get gas and I have to grab that gas, and I'm like, oh, gross. Who else touched this before me? What am I touching next? I'm going to get in the car. I'm going to rub my eyes. So all that's super important. Masks can be important. Most masks you get right now aren't that effective. You have to get the really good surgical grade masks. They are more expensive. They're harder to breathe in because they're so dense. If you have a regular mask on, if you're going to the store like Home Depot and getting a regular mask, Ace Hardware, somewhere like that, getting a regular mask, or a sneeze guard or something, make sure that you're spraying the outside of it, inside of it with colloidal silver. That will help immensely. Goggles would be the best thing, because your mucous membrane of your eyes, that's where things get into your system simply by touching, rubbing. That's where things really get into you, into your system. So, all right. I want to read an email. From a guest of ours from the other day. And I've gotten several comments like this too. And if you go to your doctor will probably most likely tell you the same thing. So here was an email. I was at your place the other day picking up some burgers. Yum. They saw us using the Thieves essential oil. We have all these essential oils. These Young Living oils we've been using for over 20 years. We've been using a lot of this stuff. This is Immune Power, a blend of lots of different herbs there. So let me talk about what an essential oil is really briefly. An essential oil is the lifeblood of a plant. So for example, it's not an infused oil. It's not like taking, let's say oregano. Oregano oil is one of the most famous oils. So is thyme vulgaris, because thyme vulgaris has been documented in numerous cases to kill hundreds and hundreds, even up to 800 different viruses and bacteria. So thyme vulgaris is like really a powerhouse oil. But the FDA and the CDC do not approve these, and I'm going to tell you why. in a moment here. So essential oils are the lifeblood of a plant. It's not an infusion in olive oil. So some people think, oh yeah, I'm going to take some oregano or some thyme and I'm going to blend it up in some olive oil and cook it and have some thyme oil. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about if you were to take fresh thyme leaves, put them in your hands and rub your hands like that, and the residue on your hands, that oil, that slight oil, that residue on your hands, that's the essential oil inside the plant. That is the lifeblood of the plant. That is what we're talking about. That is the essential oil we're talking about. We're not talking about taking olive oil and making an infusion, making a flavored oil, not a culinary oil. We're talking about the actual lifeblood of the actual plant. So now, this is all done through steam distillation, through different pressures, through an exact science where they extract this. Oregano oil has been known for years upon years upon years upon years to be very highly effective. You can do a Google search, you can go to PubMed, you can go to all these different scientific journals and literature and find out how effective essential oils are. You can do the same thing with vitamin C, with zinc, with elderberry, with astragalus, with echinacea, with chaga. You can go on and on and on and find hundreds of studies supporting, true legitimate studies supporting how this stuff builds your immune system, how it works against cancer in a positive way. You can find study after study after study after study after study. But when you go to the CDC website, you're met with, this is not FDA approved, this is not recommended, this is the only approved method. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me finish reading this email first. So this email, I got some burgers at your place the other day, yum yum. I know you're using thieves, and you offered me some. I, at the time, was carrying my own arsenal of homemade essential oil blend and a carrier oil to keep using on my hands. I told this to a friend yesterday and suggested that they might do the same, all right? He researched it and came back to me that the FDA has made a public statement that no essential oil can fight this virus, that no essential oil can fight this virus. That the FDA made this. So I checked, and it's true that there are warnings by government agencies to companies selling oils that they need to remove any ads that claim otherwise. Being generally distrustful of government agencies, I do not know what to think of this. Just passing this along your way. So I want to comment on that. Okay. So here's how the FDA works and the CDC works, Center for Disease Control. There are, again, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of studies out there proving that essential oils, vitamins, minerals, healthy diet, all this kind of stuff works to build your immune system, works to actually reverse things like heart disease, reverse things like diabetes, reverse things. There's some serious studies out there that prove a lot of things that the pharmaceutical companies do not want you to know. They do not want you to know this. They don't want to accept it. So what happens is these government agencies, this person says they're distrustful of government agencies. There is every single reason to be distrustful of government agencies. All these government agencies run with special interest groups. Okay, quick story. I've told this story before a couple times. Back in 1999, 2000, in Colorado, I was like a rock star when it came to supporting farmers, getting the farm to table movement going. I was really very instrumental in that. The Colorado Department of Agriculture actually put on their brochures, put on their website, Marcus Guiliano is the Willie Nelson to Colorado, to farmers, because I did so much of fundraising. I was a big advocate. I actually created farmers markets. So I did a lot with the help of other chefs to get this to the forefront. So this is what the Colorado Department of Agriculture called me. They called me the Willie Nelson of Colorado for farmers because of all my farm involvement. So, of course, getting that kind of attention back then, I got nominated for the Organic Standards Board, the USDA Organic Standards Board. I was nominated. And I was told very quickly by some other people in the industry that, Marcus, you will never get on there. And I go, well, what do you mean? They go, you will never get on there. Government agencies, government boards, those boards are designed to have big corporations on them. They're designed to represent big corporate America. They're not designed to represent some small guy like you who's doing the right thing in a small city, larger city, whatever. Those are government fronts for big companies. They want Earthbound Lettuce on there. They want the big brands. They want Muir Glen. They want General Mills on that board so General Mills can launch an organic brand and cut every corner possible. They want Tyson on there so Tyson can roll out a quote-unquote organic chicken that's still sprayed with chlorine, that's still mass-produced, that's still put into boxes or barns. That's what they want. They want a way for corporate America to come in and do their agenda and cut the corners. This is why a lot of farmers, by the way, are against the organic standards, USDA, because they know that it's crap. They know it was designed so General Mills can get to the games and Muir Glen can make their organic ketchup, or whatever big brands are out there can make their organic products. That's what it's for. All right? It's not for small farmers. It's not for small restaurants. It's not for you and I that are concerned about the food we're putting on our body. It's for the corporate greed. All right? So the CDC, the FDA, the USDA, these are all the same types of things. They're represented by big corporate America. In the CDC, folks, can easily put somebody on board, on their research department, to do nothing but scour every single legitimate medical journal out there, every legitimate study out there, and say, you know what? Essential oils do work. You know what? Vitamin C does work. You know what? Zinc does work. Why don't we start recommending this to all of America? Take your vitamin C, take your zinc, take your astragalus, take your echinacea, go out and get some exercise, build up some lung capacity. This is what we need in a crisis like this. We need true health. We don't need a drug. We don't need to watch all these people get sick, put out toxic drugs, and make this whole thing go in circles and circles and circles again until we eradicate it somewhat, until it dies down. All right? They can do that, but they're not allowed. The CDC is not allowed to go directly to a medical journal and pull information. The CDC has a buffering agent. They have a buffering agent who is on Big Pharma. They're there for Big Pharma. They're the ones that only let certain things pass through the gate of the CDC so the CDC can put it on their website. They are the gatekeepers to protect corporate America. So this is why, if you go on to the CDC website, USDA, FDA, whatever it is, any of these governmental agencies, that you will find out that these proven therapies for health, proven food therapies, whatever it is, are not recognized. And they actually downplay them. They actually make laws saying that something like this that might have 100 legitimate medical studies cannot make claims. It cannot make claims because it's not the orthodox approved method that's going to make some company billions and billions of dollars. You can simply go out and exercise on your own. You can make fresh juice on your own. You can do all of these things on your own. That does not require you to be in compliance or giving money to your insurance company, then the big pharma, and then the big corporations. Folks, our food supply system is screwed. Our food supply in America is horrific. It is horrific. The things Governor Cuomo's going up right now saying, oh, and people think Governor Cuomo's this amazing guy right now. Oh, right. The reality is, most of America thinks that what a successful president is, successful politician is, this is the reality of it. Somebody with charisma. Ronald Reagan had charisma. Clinton had charisma. Obama had charisma. They think that these people, because they had charisma, that it's a sign of them being a successful elected official. All right? I personally think that all sponsored Republicans and Democrats are psychopaths. That's just they're in it for, and we all know this. We all know this. We all start saying around election time, well, I know I'm voting for the worst of the two evils. That's not a democracy, folks. That's the CDC filtering legitimate stuff that could save lives, that could save 1 million deaths a year from heart disease and cancer and all these things. Them filtering this is not a democracy. It's not. Folks, the information is out there. The studies are out there. The legitimacy is out there. But again, the CDC cannot go to a medical journal and use that medical. They can't just go to a medical journal and say, oh, wow, this is proven. This is a great study, double-blind placebo, whatever it is, all the markers there. They just can't say, wow, this is going to help America, and let's now put this on our website, and now let's endorse this. That's not how it works. It has to go through the filtering, buffering agent of Big Pharma before it can. And if it's not Big Pharma approved on their agenda to make the money, doesn't typically get recommended by the CDC. So I would not worry about what other people say, like, oh, did you do research on that? The USDA, the USDA or the FDA said that's not, recommended, or that doesn't work. Folks, we all have common sense. We know that vitamin C works. We've known vitamin C's worked. America knows vitamin C works. This is why it's the most popular supplement ever. This is why it sells so much. And this is why China is buying up all the global supply right now of vitamin C, because 20 grams a day of vitamin C intravenous in China is reversing coronavirus. It's making people healthy from the coronavirus. It's working. They know that. It's being proven. But our CDC will never, ever, ever admit that, because then you can go to the store and buy it yourself and not have to rely upon Big Pharma, not have to rely on. Same thing goes with food, all right? They know the food they're putting in our food supply, the chemicals, the food colorings, the preservatives, the GMOs. They know all this is altering our whole body. It's altering our gut, the bacteria in our gut. They know all this. They know it's killing off the bees. They know this. But they're making a ton of money, these companies. Monsanto, now Bayer, all these GMO companies, all this big agriculture, all this, General Mills, Archer Daniels, all these massive companies are making big money from that. When you go to the store and you look at the price of how cheap chicken breast is, folks, to go into the store and buy chicken breast for 99 cents a pound, think about all of the grains that went into it, all the labor that went into it, everything, all these things. Somewhere along the way, the cost was being altered drastically to make this such a cheap product. And all that was altered in the name of destroying the environment and destroying our health and putting out a really, really cheap product out there. Something a lot of people don't understand is you don't need to eat. If you're eating nutrient-dense food, you don't need to eat as much food. Your body knows, hey, I got a lot of nutrients in. I'm being satiated from all these vitamins, minerals, nutrients. That, when you eat a bag of potato chips, your body knows, hey, keep eating because we need something substantial here. And you can keep eating the potato chips and eating the potato chips and eating the potato chips. Folks, our main goal is Aroma Thyme. Jamie and I went through this health revolution 20 years ago. I got rid of asthma. I got rid of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, chronic fatigue, acid reflux, so bad the medication wasn't working. I was on literally 5-6 medicines, and the day my doctor said you need cholesterol medication, I said, no more, doc. I'm done taking more meds. I've got to take control of my health. And he, for some reason, I convinced him to give me 30 days to go and figure this out myself. And I knew what I wanted to do, and I did it. So, and I came back and my blood work came in line great, without meds. I got off of every med, and I ended up, I reversed everything. You can't even use the word cured because I don't think the USDA likes or the FDA likes the word cured. But I reversed everything through diet and lifestyle, all right? And my doctor said to me, he goes, looks at my wife and goes, I got your husband healthy. He didn't even know what I did, nor did he ever ask me what I did. Because if he asked me what I did, he would face the truth of diet and nutrition works, and no longer could he go to his patients and say, hey, get up off your ass and go run. Stop eating Twinkies. Stop doing that. I'm not going to give you the cholesterol medication until you prove that you can do a part of this on your own. That's not the conversation that happens with most doctors. Conversation is, you need cholesterol medication, you're living dangerously, cut out some red meat, cut out the carbs a little bit, here's the medication. They never say, here's what you have to do and here's what you're going to do. Ralph is asking, how can I get 20 grams in a day without a pill? Ralph, it is super hard to get in 20 grams of vitamin C a day. like impossible to get in 20 grams. You can do it. It's a gram almost every hour, which that's about as much as your body can tolerate. Folks, if you were to take 10 grams of vitamin C right now orally, your body would just, it would go, it's water soluble, it would go right through your body. You'd go urinate and it's gone. That's it. It's a waste of vitamin C. You'd also have the runs very bad because that's what vitamin C does. It flushes you until you get the runs. That's how you know you're at the point of maximum load of vitamin C is when you get the runs from vitamin C. So Ralph, what I would do if I wanted to take, now I'm taking 5 or 7, 7.5, 10 grams a day, depending on, how I drink my water. I put it in a jug, water, and I drop vitamin C powder into it. But you can literally take, I would take, me personally, because again, I'm not a healthcare professional, so I can't give advice. Me personally, if I want to take 20 grams, I would do a gram for every hour that you're awake, that I'm awake. Every hour that I'm awake, I just take a gram. Vitamin C, that's you can get 500 milligrams or 1,000 milligrams. I would take 2 500 milligrams or 1,000 milligram pill, and that's it. If you're in the hospital, you will have a major fight to try to get a vitamin C drip. Vitamins, the best way that you do high levels of vitamin C is intravenously. You will have to fight tooth and nail to get a vitamin C drip. And then I've gotten this done for my parents before when they've been in the hospitals. And at that point, they're only giving like 1 or 2 grams of vitamin C. It's some insane small amount. You have to go, if you want true vitamin C and big doses, you need to go to an alternative healthcare clinic that understands the power of vitamin C. And there's cancer clinics that are sticking in patients 75 grams of vitamin C a day, intravenous vitamin C a day, and they're becoming very, very successful. Vitamin C is cheap, folks. It's an extremely cheap thing. This is why the CDC does not say it's legitimate enough, because again, you have that buffering agent there who's the pharma. You have a gatekeeper. The CDC has a gatekeeper. It's called Big Pharma. They do not let anything in that they cannot make money on that is cheap. This is why they want to go to making prescriptions for all the vitamins out there, because then they could be the gatekeeper of vitamins. All right? And then if you wanted a potency of vitamin C or anything that actually worked, you'd have to go get a prescription from your doctor, and insurance would have to overpay for something that's not that expensive to make. And this is the way America wants to go. This has happened in Germany. This has happened elsewhere. This is the way that America, Big Pharma, wants to take America. For you to get anything that you could actually possibly improve your health with, you have to go through the orthodox, through the channels of your doctor, health insurance, and a pharmacy. That's what they want. So, and it is disgusting because we don't need all that. All right. Ralph says, no, what do you recommend a day? What do I recommend a day? Ralph, I take 5 to 7 grams of vitamin C a day right now. If it's not in a crisis mode like this, I take 1 to 2, 3 grams, 4 grams. Vitamin D, I heard some doctors talking the other day. Dr. Hyman, very, very respected doctor, who's fighting for our food supply. Fighting to get clean food and food supply, and reverse all this nasty food in our society. He's fighting so hard. There's a lot of doctors that really, Neil Barnard, there's a lot of really doctors that are out there, medical doctors that are fighting. It's a hard fight. But he claims, and he says, and so did Dr. Gundry. Dr. Gundry, I heard both of them say that they would take, if they got it, if they felt sick, flu-like symptoms, they would take 150,000 units, international units of vitamin D for 3 days. That's what they would take. And Dr. Gundry is like, listen, I test all my patients every 3 months for blood work, and all these high levels of vitamin D that I recommend, nobody comes back with vitamin D toxicity. They just don't come back with it. He goes, I monitor that. 150,000 international units. Folks, most vitamin D is like little tablets are 5,000 units, international units. He's talking about taking 150,000 international units a day when you get sick, when you get flu-like symptoms. I've always taken baking soda when I've gotten sick. When I feel like flu-like symptoms coming on, I take baking soda. Baking soda flushes your system out, it alkalizes your body. It's a really, baking soda is one of those amazing items that I've interviewed Dr. Tullio Simoncini on my YouTube channel. You can see a full hour interview with with Tullio Simoncini. He's the Roman oncologist who has had massive success rates with baking soda therapy for cancer for the last 30 years. Again, it's not approved by the CDC. It's not approved by anybody in Italy. He's been persecuted. He's been thrown in jail. He's been basically discredited. But when it comes down to it, baking soda is already in chemotherapy. It's one of the elements in chemotherapy. So, but folks, you don't hear that. You just hear them critic. If you go and search for Tullio Simoncini, you'll see things that are terrible about him. He's in jail and this and that and this quack and this and that. Folks, he's taking one component he's taking one component out of chemotherapy, which is baking soda, and using baking soda as his drug of choice, as his treatment of choice. And it's working. He has a massive success rate, and he's taught this to a lot of doctors across the country, across the world. And this is working, but it doesn't. It bypasses the gatekeeper, bypasses big pharma. So they don't want it. So they're going to do everything they can to discredit it. All right. So that's how this goes. So if you read something that says the CDC doesn't say do this, do that, the CDC also, and the FDA and the USDA, they also say that eating cheese fries and pizza is a vegetable. They're saying that pizza is a vegetable in the school system. All right. These are the same people that say this stuff. And the only reason why pizza is considered a vegetable is because the pizza manufacturers, the frozen pizza manufacturers, got to lobby heavily enough to buy out a state representative, whatever state, they were able to pass that in. They were able to get in and lobby enough and pay enough money and lobby and get their agenda passed. And this is how it is. So really, if we were really concerned about true health, we would stop the gatekeepers at the CDC. We'd stop all lobbyists in all these states and nationally, statewide and federally that come in, big pharma, all these lobbyists, because folks are only there for it. We all know this. We 100% know this. None of us are stupid. None of us Americans are stupid. It's just there's a disconnect of saying, now that this is passed, there's a gatekeeper at the CDC, and this gatekeeper at the CDC is not going to let anything through that could really help be a true benefit to us, that does not have a financial gain for corporate America, because that's the bottom line. Today's special, I know I went on and on. Today's special is our $9.99 special today is Jamaican jerk chicken. It is cooking right now. It's slow braising. It is amazing. It's braised in a tomato sauce with lots of jerk spices, scallions, Scotch bonnet peppers, some garlic, some tomato, onions. Really, really good. It's served over rice. It is spicy. I do have a few orders that we've not put the sauce in. So if somebody says, well, I don't want that spicy sauce, we can do that. $9.99 Tuesday. We can deliver. Just understand that if you call and say, hey, I want to deliver at 5:30, I can't do that. It has to be, hey, I want a delivery. I'm in Kerhonkson, and we look at our list and say, okay, in Kerhonkson we can be there at 6:30, or we can be there at 5. So that's the thing. I just can't. My son's doing deliveries. I'm doing deliveries. We just can't be everywhere at one time. So you just have to understand that. If you want salmon, I have 20 pounds of salmon left right now. I ordered extra. I ordered like 40, 50 pounds extra. I only have 20 extra pounds right now. We can order more. It won't be here till the end of the week, but I can. But right now I have 20 extra pounds of salmon. I don't care if you live in New Paltz, Kingston, Middletown. We can get this to you. We'll figure a way out to get this to you. If you are in New Paltz, which is a half an hour from Aroma Thyme, if you're in Kingston and it's a half an hour, I would suggest talking to a couple other friends, going in on a couple cases, and I'll deliver it. One of us will get to deliver this to you. That's the reality. Our main goal is to get you stocked up with high quality food. A lot of doctors say, oh, eat salmon, it's heart healthy. Folks, farmed salmon, aka scammon, is not salmon at all. It's atrocious to even consider farmed salmon a food. I don't care if it's from the Faroe Islands, Scotland, Norway, Chile, the whatever brand it is on the whatever chefs are endorsing, Martha Stewart, whatever brand they're endorsing, it's all scammon. It does not remotely represent what wild salmon is. Wild salmon. Salmon is a keystone species. Salmon is an amazing species that does so much for the full environment. Everything from a tree to a bear that's 3, 4, 5 miles, 2,000 miles upstream. They make this 2,000-mile journey in the ocean. It is impossible to lock salmon in a cage, in a net, in the ocean. This is a migratory species that swims 2,000 miles. It's impossible to lock it up and put it in there and expect for it to do what it's supposed to do. They're feeding it all kinds of crap. All kinds of crap. It takes way too much protein to make 1 pound, 3-to-1 conversion. So they go in and they rape the ocean of all this other fish, and then they make fish pellets out of it and put a lot of toxic chemicals into it to stabilize the fat. It needs a very high fat content. Also turn rancid and oxidized, so they put pesticides in it from Monsanto to keep the feed fresh. They feed this to the salmon. The salmon is filled with dioxins, PCBs. It's filled with all kinds of stuff. And then your doctor says, oh, eat salmon one day a week, twice a week, or a couple times a month. But he never says eat only, or she never says eat only eat wild salmon, because that's real salmon. Farm salmon is not salmon. And when you go, it's crazy, because when you look at like Faroe Islands, the Faroe Island salmon, a lot of chefs are on Faroe Islands. For some reason, Faroe Islands has done a really good job marketing, and they throw in these sustainability logos and these things. Folks, it's farmed salmon. There's no right way to do the wrong thing. Talk to the people who live in the communities in the Faroe Islands, or in Scotland, or Norway, or in Canada. They will tell you how atrocious and how the bays smell because of all the die-off. We spoke to Bill Bryden last year. I spoke to Bill several times. He's a big-time activist up in Canada. There's Marcus. These salmon die in these pens, and if they don't get them right away, a whole bay gets covered with this oily film from the fish, from the dead fish, and it stays on the rocks for months, the bay stinks. Don Staniford, I was on the phone with him. We did a great interview with him. He's on the front lines in Scotland. Global Alliance, Aquaculture Alliance. He has a lot of great sites, and he's on those front lines fighting these salmon farms. Folks, these salmon farms are lying to you. They have a lot of money invested in this. They make a lot of money. They're lying to you about the health of the fish. They're lying to the governments. They hide the diseases, and a lot of the governments are in cahoots with them. So even though, folks, Alexandra Morton, she's gone into the stores in British Columbia, bought salmon from the shelves, and got them tested, and there's viruses right in the salmon off the store shelves. But yet, the Canadian government refuses to accept that the salmon there has anything wrong with it. Because of the Canadian government admits it, then they have to go in and shut these salmon farms down, and they pay way too much money to the Canadian government. Basically, these Norwegian companies came into Canada after they destroyed Norway and said, where's our next front that we can go in and buy the government out? And that's basically what they did. They came in, threw a lot of money around, and bought the government. And then all of a sudden you have a company like True North, Cook Aquaculture, True North, that gets Rick Moon some money to sponsor, Martha Stewart some money to sponsor. And all of a sudden we think, oh, Martha Stewart says the salmon's okay. No, Martha Stewart is not the ideal person for ethics on anything, okay? She's just not. And you know why, because she was in jail, and she's just not the right person. I'm not saying that she did something that other people aren't doing. She's just got caught, and she was just set up as an example. So, folks, lots and lots of people tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you're watching live, drop a comment, #live. If it's on the replay, #replay. I'm going to repeat myself just one more time for the new people that are on here. You need to honor your immune system. You need to keep pumping good things into your immune system. Vitamin C, vitamin D, chlorella, spirulina, echinacea, astragalus. You need to do aerobic exercises to build up your lung capacity. Coronavirus is a lung infection. So do things that honor your body. There's a lot of things. We just got another shipment in of vitamins from that we just got at the post office, Life Extensions. There's a lot of really good things out there. So a guest of ours wrote us an email. And this is the crazy part of the title of this. A guest of ours wrote us an email. Hi, Marcus and Jamie. I was at your place picking up burgers. Yummy, yummy. I know you're using the Thieves. Thieves is an essential oil blend that we spray our counters down with. We've been doing it for years. We clean with years for that. So, and you offered me some. I, at the time, was carrying my own arsenal of essential oil blends. to use on my hands. I told this to a friend yesterday and suggested that they might do the same. He researched it and came back to me that the FDA has made a public statement that no essential oil can fight this virus. I checked it and it's true. There are warnings by government agencies and companies selling oils that they need to remove ads that claim otherwise. Being generally distrustful of government agencies, I do not know what to think of this. Just passing this info along to you. All right, so here's a person who uses essential oils, who knows the value of essential oils. We've been using essential oils for 20 years. What is an essential oil? It's not a culinary oil. It's not going to the store to buy, basil oil or oregano oil at the store. Those oils are made from taking olive oil, throwing in basil, oregano, rosemary, whatever, and then making this infusion. An essential oil is the lifeblood of a plant, totally different. The essential oil is, imagine taking sage or rosemary or thyme and putting it in your hands and rubbing it like this. And then you take your hands out and you see all that residue on your hands. That, folks, is the lifeblood of the plant. That is the oils coming out of the plant. When you steam distill those at a certain time at a certain temperature, you get oil. You get the pure oil, the lifeblood of the plant out. Oregano oil is known to kill hundreds and hundreds of viruses. The studies are there. Thyme vulgaris specifically, Thymus vulgaris, is known to kill 800 different types of viruses. The studies are there. It's posted. You can go online, you can go to PubMed, you can go to medical journals. You can see all this legitimacy and all this stuff being done. When the government agency says, well, this isn't approved and you can't make these claims, this and that. Government agencies are for big corporations. They're for big pharma. I'll repeat this story. I've repeated this story a couple times throughout this whole crisis, and I've said this a few other times. In 1999, I was nominated to be on the Organic Standards Board for the USDA. Big position. I was like, wow, I'm a chef in Colorado. That's because I got lots of media attention. I was called by the Colorado Department of Agriculture, the Willie Nelson to Colorado, because I did a lot of farm aid along with other chefs. I did a lot for the farmers. I got them noticed. We started farmers markets. We did a bunch of things. So Colorado State Department of Agriculture actually put this on all their literature. Marcus Guiliano, this, and this. I was like, wow, what an honor. So because of that media attention, I got nominated for the Organic Standards Board. And I had people come to me right away and said, Marcus, you'll never get on. I go, what do you mean? No, you'll never get on. Those boards are designed for corporate America. Those boards are designed for Archer Daniels Midland, for all these big companies, for General Mills, for all these big companies that Purdue chicken. Purdue doesn't have organic chicken right now. You better bet they're going to get a representative from the poultry board or Purdue on that board, so they can figure out how to take shortcuts and still stamp the organic logo on it. Still spray chlorine, still do mass production, still feed it GMOs or whatever. They're going to make sure they get their thing across, because they know the organic industry is a booming, rocking and rolling every year, up and up and up for the last 20 years. So the guy from Purdue, Marcus, is going to get on way before you. He's more well-funded than you and this and that, and you're just some chef in a small town in a small restaurant who really cares and understands what the word organic means and definition of organic means, but you're not what corporate America wants. Because you're going to say, well, why, Marcus? Marcus would say, well, why are you going to spray chickens down with chlorine? Why are we doing it this still? Why are we keeping them in barns still? Why are we doing this? This is why a lot of farmers are against organic certifications. They don't get an organic certification, even though they practice above and beyond. So, with that being said, your CDC, our CDC, our FDA, our USDA, same exact thing. It's big corporations on there. It's big pharma on there. It's big food companies. It's big lobbying groups that are on there to make sure that we can't go self-medicate and cure this with vitamin C ourselves. That we can't go to the store and buy zinc ourselves and understand that, hey, that taking 150,000 international units of vitamin D a day for the first 3 days will probably knock this whole thing out. You never need hospitalization, you never need this, you never need that. They don't want you to know that because there's no money in that. This is why America wants to take over vitamins. This is why they want it so when you want to dose yourself with a good amount of vitamin C, you have to go to the doctor. They have to write you a prescription, and you have to get something that was produced by a pharmaceutical company that has outrageous exponential profits in it. Folks, a vitamin C bag. I was told that a vitamin C drip, if you can even get one in the hospital, a vitamin C drip, a bag with like, 10, 15, 20 grams of vitamin C in it to intravenously put it, is $800. $800. Vitamin C, you go buy a bottle of it, it's $5. But this is what they would do if they made vitamins a prescription, where you couldn't really get anything to really make a benefit. Folks, the CDC and Big Pharma knows vitamins work. They know it works. Without a doubt, they know it works, but they don't want us to know it works. They don't want us to know that good food works. Good food works. I reversed everything, 28 years old, through good food. Good food works. If they gave the power for us to do that, the stock market would crumble. If pharmaceutical companies crashed right now, the stock market would permanently crumble. All right? It's not like just a temporary. If you took away pharmaceuticals out of the stock market, you'd have major, major, major problems. They're fighting tooth and nail to keep their profits up and to keep their agenda going and to hide all these legitimate things from us. So the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, has a buffering person, has a buffering filter, a filtering system. All of us could take a thousand scientifically proven studies on vitamin C that are in medical journals, that are peer-reviewed, that have everything. We can take Linus Pauling's work. We can walk to the CDC and say, here's the stack, and hand it to the CDC. And they will say, that's not approved. That's not fact. Not only is that not approved, but that's not safe. That's not safe. You shouldn't be self-medicating yourself without a professional. That's exactly what they would say. And then they scare people to think that, make people think like, I can still eat cheese fries and 3,000 calorie blooming onions. I can still eat cheesecake, and I can still do this, and I can, and nothing's going to make a difference because my genes are programmed to, do this. Bruce Lipton, the world's foremost geneticist, Bruce Lipton, 95% of our medical issues we can change, he says. It's not in your genes like we think, they program us to think. It's in your genes. It's in your genes. You have this gene. You have to have this operation. You have to have this drug for the rest of your life. You have to have this. While they keep shoving 3,000 calorie fried onions down our throat. This is the reality of what's happening. Folks, we can take control of our health. We can do this. You can have access to all these medical journals, but these medical journals, the most trusted medical journals out there, cannot talk directly to the CDC. They can't say, hey, we've got this whole totally legitimate study that was just done for 20 years, and here you go, CDC. The CDC says, no, you just don't knock on our door and show us that kind of stuff. That's for our scout to figure out if we're going to even get presented to us. And the scout is Big Pharma, folks. So that's the way this works. Folks, you have to honor your immune system right now. You've got to do this. All this stuff is stuff that we have power and access to do ourselves for the time being until they take away our right to buy vitamins, which I hope that never, ever happens. And there's been a lot of celebrities that have fought for that. A lot of influential people across the country have been fighting to help us because every couple years, this comes around again. Oh my gosh, vitamins may be taken away from us. It happened in Germany. Vitamins are getting taken away from us. If vitamins were to get taken away from us, then we'd have to go to much more functional food, like broccoli powder, dehydrated broccoli juice powder, things like that would be like the next thing that we hope they wouldn't take away. Powdered wheatgrass or wheatgrass juice to be able to flood ourselves with. And these are good things you should be doing anyway, right? The green mixtures, green drinks, all this kinds of stuff. So, folks, thank you for tuning in. Jamie and I really, really appreciate all the support again. We have some massive support. We're going to try to start doing more deliveries to get wild salmon into people's freezers at home. You should have all kinds of beans at home. You should have grains at home. You should have nuts, all in bulk, sealed packages that you can keep in a cool, dry place. Your refrigerator, your freezer. Your freezers are best. You have chest freezers and you buy, extra walnuts or things like that. Put them in a bag, seal them airtight, and keep them cold. That's the best way to do it. Some of this stuff will turn rancid, all right? Nuts are high in fat. Nuts will turn rancid if you just keep them out in warm temperatures and this and that, and it's just like a high quality olive oil. Keep things stored right, but you can buy things in bulk at a time. Go to the health food store, buy things in bulk. You save on packaging. You save. We have a lot of things in-house right now. Like if somebody said, hey, Marcus, I need 5 pounds of walnuts. We have walnuts that are not sprayed to be pasteurized. They're steam pasteurized. A lot of our nuts in the U.S., especially almonds, they say raw on the package, but they're essentially cooked, blanched somehow, cooked, heated, or they are most likely, and they will be, sprayed with chemicals to pasteurize them. All right? Again, somebody convinced California a few years back that, hey, almonds are a source of salmonella. Not the chickens, not this and that, not the runoff coming through, but the almonds themselves can get people sick. So California passed a law to strictly pasteurize most of the production. There are a couple loopholes in California, and you can buy stuff from Italy and from Spain that is truly non-pasteurized without any chemicals. All right, they're loading our food supply with chemicals left and right, and it is insane what they do with our food supply, folks. You have to do research. Jamie and I do all the research. I do a ton of research every day on making sure we're providing the safest food. And if you see a lot of the posts that we just do throughout the course of the year, is I'm always trying to educate people on making better choices. All right, better choices, because it's hard to realistically go to the store and without some kind of education on this food to buy healthy food. You have to be conscious, read every label. My mom was like this. My mom would pick up a label and be like, hey, it says, you know, all my vitamins and this and that. And I look at the back label and I go, Mom, sugar, GMO grains, trans fats, this and that. Folks, when you go to the grocery store and you look at the box, look at a box of cereal, look at a box of whatever, it's going to tell you on the front, that's their billboard. That's what catches their eye. That's what catches your eye. That's the billboard. That's what has to sell the product. You will buy something for your kids knowing that it has more vitamins in it than something next to it, right? If you're looking at 2 cereals, 2 types of Frosted Flakes. Oh, this one has more vitamins. This one has more vitamins than this, right? But when you turn it over, it doesn't say on the front, hey, plus all the GMOs your body could ever handle, plus all the sugar to wire your kid, you know, so they're going to crash and this and that. 2 o'clock this afternoon. They don't put that on the front because that's not the part that's going to sell. You have to go to the back and do your own investigation and read the labels. I don't think Jamie and I have ever had corn syrup in this restaurant. We have always been very conscious about corn syrup and anything that comes in. I've sent stuff back. I've had distributors that have sent me stuff that, oh, this is great, and they get corn syrup in it. Send it back. We ordered Alaskan Soul 3 weeks ago. Ordered Alaskan Soul, and I was told, hey, this stuff is great. It's Alaskan product. It came in processed in China. This was before this whole big thing was hitting. And I was like, man, caught in Alaska, processed in China. Send it back. And I spoke to the seafood guy the other day. I'm like, yeah, I sent that case back. And he's like, oh my gosh, Marcus, I should have told you because I know how strict you are. Read labels. Wild salmon, if you're going to eat fish, wild salmon, halibut, albacore tuna for the Pacific Northwest. Those 3 fish are great. There's a few other fish out there that are good too, but cold water fish are the best to be eating. And just boost your immune system. Lots and lots of fruits and veggies. Lots of real food. Avoid the fried foods. Avoid all the dairy that you put on stuff. All that kind of stuff. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Had a lot of people in. Drop a comment, #live if you're on the live, or #replay on the replay. And where you're tuning in from. A lot of people from all over the country and other countries are tuning in. Appreciate it, folks. We'll talk to you later.